either of you? Yes, so I would like to introduce the Pueblo Counseling Department. We have Kimberly Lamadrid. She is our class of 2024 cohort counselor. Then we have Miss Patricia Morales Mapp. She is our class of 2023 cohort counselor. I am Dr. Teresa Toro, and I am the counseling department chair at Pueblo. And I'm also the coordinator for the Pueblo College Preparatory Academy, and I am the counselor for the class of 2022. And Miss Alicia Ramirez Bordon is our senior counselor, and she is the counselor for the class of 2021. She is our senior counselor. And what we're going to do today is we're going to talk our parent cafecito course selection. It's important that we work as a village to help our students select their classes that are most relevant to them and their post-secondary plans come January. And so we're going to give you important information to keep in mind so that you at home can also help your child and assist your child in picking the best class fit for them for next school year. So Mr. Cruz. And this is Miss Patricia.
Hi, Mrs. Mapp. As Dr. Toro had mentioned, we are now starting to approach the end of the semester, and that means that our students will start thinking about having conversations with us and hopefully with you all about what classes to register for next school year. So there are a couple of things that we do want to make sure students consider or are aware of as they are starting to select the classes. And one of them is understanding where they stand in terms of their academic standing. Are they on pace to graduate when they're supposed to be graduating? Do they have the sufficient number of credits to be able to graduate with the cohort that they're supposed to graduate with? Just understand also that as counselors, we're working one-on-one with your student. So if ever your student has any questions in terms of their academic status, or if you have any questions and you want to find out if they are in line to graduate when they're supposed to, please always feel free to reach out to us. Because as we're having these important conversations with your students, we also want to make sure that you are included in your part of that because we certainly want to work hand in hand so we know how to better serve your student and plan what they are wanting to do after graduation. So in addition to understanding where they're at with their credits, we also want them to pick classes that align with what their plans are after they do graduate. And it's never too early to ask your student what they want to do once they graduate from Pueblo High School. If it's attending college or enlisting in a military branch or joining the workforce full time. We want to have those conversations early so that way we can help them plan out their years while at Pueblo. So when they do transition out of Pueblo, they already know what they're doing and they're set up to be able to do so immediately once they do graduate. So we want to make sure that students are aligning or picking classes based off of what they want to do after they graduate. And this is important because if they're able to have that foundation, if they're able to kind of get an exposure as to what they would do in such a career, then it keeps them on track and they're not losing time and they're not losing money in some cases where a student may go to college, then realize it's not for them. So we want them to be cognizant. We want them to understand why they're selecting classes and that it's for a purpose. So for example, if a student were to talk to their counselor and share with them that they're interested in, let's say, a medical field, we actually offer a healthcare foundations class here at Pueblo. So that way they can have that introduction to that pathway. There's also some programs that we would advise them to maybe participate in where they're earning their career certifications in that field or even college credit. So at Pueblo, we're really blessed and in terms of having opportunities for students to possibly take a class here at Pueblo, earn college credit, especially with those AP classes that will then transfer on to the university once they leave Pueblo. The other route is if students are interested again in a particular field, because we work hand in hand and we have a partnership with JTED. Students can enroll in JTED and start earning certification within that field. So it might be in cosmetology, it might be learning how to man drones, it may be that they are wanting to be a physical therapist. So all of these are options that students can actually participate or look into, where counselors can have that information. And by working with us, we can make sure that students are not just selecting classes because their friends are going to be in that class next semester or next school year, but actually picking classes that align with what they want to do and be able to give them that stepping stone or that foundation once they do graduate from Pueblo. Thank you. So when we refer to students and their progress towards graduation, the goal is for students to always graduate within the 4 years, having them take their freshman classes, their sophomore classes, junior classes, and then their senior classes. Before they can graduate from Pueblo, they need to meet the requirements set forth by the district and by the state of Arizona. For Pueblo High School, students must earn a minimum of 23 credits. And those credits are specific in terms of areas that they have to earn credits in. So when we're looking at the high school graduation requirements, we've listed on the screen those credits that have to be earned in that particular field or that particular core class. So for example, students must have 4 years of English credit, 4 years of math credit, 3 years of a science credits, 3 credits within social studies, a credit of a fine art or a CTE class, half a year of a health class, a full year of full credit of PE, and 6.5 credits to then come out with the minimum of 23 credits needed for graduation. And you'll see that the high school credits align really nicely with our state university credits. So we have the 3 state-supported universities in Arizona, ASU, NAU, and U of A. And when a student graduates from Pueblo, they will look at their transcript. They will look at their academic history, the credits that they've earned while they've been with us. And what they do is they make sure that those students took specific classes while they were at Pueblo. So the good thing about it is that you'll see that they actually merge. They're the same credits that a student would earn at Pueblo and those credits that the universities are looking for, with the exception of 2 years of a world language. So that's the only difference. And as counselors, we highly recommend students to take those 2 years of a world language, because they never know what plans they may have, or how their plans may change once they do graduate from Pueblo. So while they're here, as I shared with you, students do have to earn 6.5 credits of electives, and we highly recommend that of those 6.5 credits, 2 of them are those world language credits. So that way they can automatically meet what's called the Sweet 16 credits that they will be that the universities will be looking for. In addition to the credits, I just want to briefly remind students that they must also pass their civics exam in addition to their CPR requirement. So those are things that we work with students while they are transitioning from one grade to another. So they will, we'll work with them on that piece. When I mentioned that universities will look at a student's transcript, if you haven't already seen what a transcript looks like, we kind of gave you a snapshot of what one would look for within a student's transcript on the screen. The transcript is an academic record. It's kind of like a student's history of the classes that they took while they were here at Pueblo, the grades that they earned, and the credits that they've earned so far.
I think Miss Patti froze for a moment, but I would like to also mention that if a student wants to apply for a university, an in-state
And I
university,
have credits. I'm sorry.
you froze for a moment, Miss Morales. So I just went ahead and started to continue. I was going to tell them.
I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, you froze. And so I would like you to please mention from the previous slide is what grades they need to have in the Sweet 16 in order to get a full ride or a full tuition scholarship, and what grades are they supposed to have if as soon as they graduate from Pueblo want to go straight to a university. What kind of grades are they supposed to have in their Sweet 16?
Yeah, absolutely. So when a student is graduating from Pueblo and they are applying then to college, in addition to those credits that they're going to be earning, the universities are also going to be keeping track of the students' grades. So when, as Dr. Toro mentioned, students really need to work towards achieving those A's and B's, because the universities, they will look to see if they can offer scholarships to students, academic scholarships, merit-based scholarships. And so those have to be A's and B's in all of their classes while in high school. Those opportunities can come with not only admissions to the university, but also merit-based scholarships, scholarships that either will cover full tuition or sometimes will even cover the full cost of attending that university or college. So it's really important that students put forth their effort and they try and achieve those A's and B's each semester. Thank you, Dr. Toro. I'm sorry, I think you're muted. I'm not sure if.
What you the last part we heard you talk about was the CPR, and we didn't hear you mention about the FAFSA.
Yeah, so with the FAFSA, those of you who are seniors, it is a requirement that you submit your FAFSA in order to participate in our graduation ceremony. Keep in mind that some of you may be hesitant in applying for your FAFSA or submitting that information. Please know that that is kept confidential. What you are going to be submitting is a financial snapshot of your family and the income within your family household. There are some situations that are very particular to each student. And so we always want you to reach out to either ourselves or Mr. Cruz, because we're able then to help you through that. And we're able to look a little bit deeper into your specific situation and be able to advise you on how to proceed with your FAFSA. So, thank you for that reminder, Dr. Toro.
Really quickly, I just make sure it's clear to the students and the families here that you don't submit your FAFSA to Pueblo High School, right? Your FAFSA gets submitted to the Department of Education, and it's an online form that you fill out. We strategically require students to complete the FAFSA because we want to make sure that regardless if you decide during the summer that you want to go to a community college, or you're going to a four-year university, or you want to go to a trade school, you're always have your finances covered and potential financial assistance to attend some kind of schooling after high school. That's what the FAFSA really helps to do, is get you support financially to be able to go to any school that you really want after going to high school. So we intentionally require that, so that way you are prepared for whatever comes after high school.
And again, if you have any questions on FAFSA, please reach out to us, because we can better advise you on your specific situation. Like Mr. Cruz said, we're here to support you and making sure that you have as many opportunities once you do graduate from high school, especially when it comes to paying for that college tuition.
Excuse me, teacher. Hello?
Yes.
Yeah. You speak Spanish?
Mr. Amisaga?
Yeah.
You're looking for Mr. Senor Lopez's Zoom, correct?
I don't know. No. Eh?
este no es yo creo que este no es la junta que está buscando. Esta es una presentación para la selección de cursos para el año que entra para los alumnos.
Ok, y ahí está la junta esa. Con el
No,
profesor
no, no sé cuál junta esté buscando, pero esta es una junta para padres para informarles acerca de la selección de cursos para el año que entra. Okay. Miss Map, you're muted.
Yeah, I was muted for a little bit.
Mhm.
So as you are looking at a student's transcript, you'll notice that they have two GPAs. One of them being both of them are cumulative, meaning that it takes into consideration, we take into consideration every grade that a student has earned while in high school. But they also have an unweighted and a weighted GPA. The unweighted GPA is strictly based off of their grades, regardless of what type of classes the student chose to take. And you'll notice that for A's, students are earning 4 points. For B's, students earn 3 points. If a student earns a C, they earn 2 points. A D, they earn 1 point. And we average all of the grades that a student has earned, and we divide that by the number of classes the students taken while they've been in high school. When we are referring to the weighted GPA, however, that's when we take into consideration the type of courses that the student enrolled in. If they took an AP class, for example, a student is earning an additional point towards their GPA. So if a student would earn a B in an AP class, when we look at their GPA, it's like earning an A because they're receiving 5 points for that weighted class instead of the 4 points for an unweighted or a regular class. So when we're looking at AP classes, they are actually on a 5.0 scale in relationship or in comparison to an unweighted GPA. That's why it's a little bit more inflated for some of our students.
Okay, next slide. Thank you.
Now, when a student is earning credits and when we also discuss their grades, one of the things that is really important is that our students are attending class every day. What happens is that when a student reaches a certain period of absences, 10 to be specific, they can actually lose credit. The state of Arizona requires students to have what are seat hours, where regardless of a student's grade, they can in fact lose credit because they have not been present for the minimum required amount of time set by the state. So if a student does in fact reach those 10 unexcused absences, they can receive that no credit, and it populates on their transcript as such. The no credit means that a student must take that class over again, regardless if they were passing that class or not. So a student can in fact be passing a class, but because they have so many unexcused absences, they have now lost credit and they have to retake that class over again. One of the things that, again, the counselors do is we help problem solve. We help making sure that the students stay in line with their graduation requirements. So what we always ask students to do is making sure that they reach out to us, and Mrs. La Madrid is going to share with you what students can do if they find themselves in this situation.
Thank you, Ms. Morales Map, and Ms. La Madrid will do the next slide. Mr. Cruz.
Good morning, I'm Ms. La Madrid and I'm the freshman counselor. So if at any time you have any questions about anything, or you just want to talk to us, definitely make an appointment with us. You can find our information on the Pueblo Counseling website. And once you get there, you'll see all of our pictures. And then under our pictures is a link where you can schedule an appointment with us. So if you have any questions about credit recovery, so if you don't pass any of the classes that are required for graduation or for the Sweet 16 requirement, you definitely want to enroll in credit recovery so that you can graduate on time. And you can talk to your counselor about that. and they can let you know how to do that and when the best time is. Also, if you do want to replace a D in one of your classes, you can do that for free during credit recovery during the school year. And then also for the NCAA, so if you're planning on playing sports in college through the NCAA, the requirements are similar to our Sweet 16 requirements. So if you're taking all the classes that we put you in at Pueblo and just meeting the graduation requirements, you'll most likely be eligible. But if you have any questions, please reach out to your counselor. And just keep in mind that if you do want to play a sport in college, you do need to get into the university in order to be able to play the sport in college. So you want to look at the GPA requirements and what that university requires for admissions. Also, summer school registration begins in April. So if you're interested in that, please reach out so that we can sign you up. These are just abbreviations for classes that we offer at Pueblo. And there's a picture of Mr. Cruz because he is in charge of placing students in AP tests and then doing enrollment classes. So if you have any questions about those classes, definitely schedule an appointment with him. But advanced placement classes are just classes that are challenging. They're for students that want to challenge themselves and they get you prepared for college. So if you're thinking about, especially if you're thinking about going to an Ivy League school, you definitely want to take one of these classes. We recommend them if you have earned an A or B in a subject. And just know that there is a big time commitment with these classes. There is a lot of homework and reading involved. So if you're ready to commit to doing an hour and a half of homework every night, then this is definitely a class you will want to enroll in. So if you want to challenge yourself, we recommend these classes. And Pueblo offers several AP courses. Culturally relevant courses are just courses that offer a different perspective of different cultures. I think this is a really, it's really awesome that at Pueblo we offer culturally relevant courses because not every high school offers these. So if you want to take an English or a history class that is taught in the perspective of a different culture, this may be a class that you want to sign up for. And then dual enrollment classes are classes where students have the option to receive Pueblo and college or university credit. So if you plan on taking a dual enrollment class, just make sure that you register for Pima Community College, and there are assessments involved, but definitely schedule an appointment with Mr. Cruz if you are interested in dual enrollment classes. And then we also offer dual language classes for students who want to take bilingual courses. And then a bilingual waiver is required to be signed by your parent.
The one thing that I would add for the dual enrollment is that please take note that most dual enrollments, specifically in math and English, also require additional placement requirements, meaning you have to get a certain score on a placement exam or you have taken certain classes previously. So if you are wanting to take a dual enrollment class, make sure that you start communicating with me as soon as possible so we can get you set.
Mr. Cruz, you also mentioned about AP, that there is at the end of the year that if they score a certain way on the AP exam in May, that they can also earn college credit. Can you expand on that?
Yeah, so for AP classes, like Madrid mentioned, the AP classes are more challenging classes. The classes are high school classes that you get high school credit for, that are at a higher workload comparable to a college class. The difference between an AP class and a regular class is at the end of the academic year, for an advancement class, you have an opportunity to take what is known as an AP exam. It is a 2 to 3 hour exam in the subject that you are taking, and that exam will test your knowledge of the content for that class. If you're able to receive a 3, 4, or 5 out of 5 points for that specific exam through College Board, then some universities, college and universities, will actually give you college credit for that course. So that's also another way to make sure that you're getting ahead of the game, and another advantage that AP classes have over our regular classes at Pueblo High School.
So next, I just want to talk kind of about our course selection form. So you'll notice on the course selection form that there are abbreviations. Some classes do require you to audition, interview, or to take an entrance exam. So if you see a plus or minus in front of the course selections. Also, there are courses that require you to practice outside of school. So then you'll see these abbreviations that are shown there. And then on the course selection, it does explain what it is, so that you're not confused when you see the abbreviations. Also keep in mind that all electives run year round except for health. That is just for 1 semester. PE is a semester and then weights. But you could take PE for a year if you need your PE credits. And weights as well, you could. And if you're in a sport, your coach may encourage you to take that class. So these are just the courses that we offer. As I mentioned, AP classes, dual enrollment. We also offer honors classes. So if you want to be challenged, you can sign up for AP classes or honors classes. We also are offering remedial math courses. So if you failed math, definitely sign up for those classes. But just keep in mind that, for example, if you're a freshman and you fail Algebra 1 and you want to sign up for the remedial Algebra 1 class, you will have to take your geometry class at the same time. So take advantage of summer school. Also, we do encourage you to take geometry in the summer if you are planning on taking AP Calculus as a senior. And definitely just discuss these options with your math teachers. If you want to get advice from them, definitely just discuss this with them. They are the ones that know you the best, and they know your math skills. But you could also speak with a counselor if you have any questions. Just keep in mind that on the course selection, we are going to ask you to choose 3 primary electives and then 3 alternate electives. So a lot of times we can't place you in an elective class because maybe the class filled up. So the alternate electives are just electives that you wouldn't mind taking in case that your preferred electives fill up. So you'll choose 6 electives, and then we'll place you in one that has room. Of course, we'll try to place you in the one that you prefer, so your number 1 choice. But if we can't, then we'll go to your other choices.
Hello, everybody. My name is Alicia Ramirez. I'm the counselor for the seniors this year. I'm going to be talking about the other requirements that you need. So in addition, it's recommended that you do look at taking either a fine arts course. As we mentioned before, it is one of the requirements to graduate from high school. It's either the fine arts or the CT. And then if you haven't taken it, to make sure that you have your PE credits and your health credits. In addition to that, Pueblo High School only offers Spanish currently as a world language. So if you are planning on attending one of the four-year universities in state, or you're planning to go to a four-year university or college out of state, to make sure that a world language is in your schedule. Also make sure, like I said, it's not going to be so much of a problem, but the world language does have to be the same for all the years that you are taking it. So you can't take French one year and then maybe you took it another school, and then take Spanish another year and then have that be your 2 years. If you are planning on attending or applying to a elite university or college, then we do recommend that you take 3 or more years of the same world language. So again, the 2 years is a minimum for the in-state four-year universities. But again, if you are looking at one of those elite colleges, they are looking at you taking more than the 2 years, so 3 years or more. At Pueblo, we have different kinds of Spanish classes. We have our basic Spanish classes. You'll see that as, saying Spanish 1, 2, Spanish 3, 4. And those are our Spanish classes for students who are not native speakers. So it's not something that you grew up speaking at home. We also have Spanish for native speakers. So you'll see that as Spanish language arts on this course selection page. And that's if you grew up speaking Spanish. And this is really helpful, especially if you know how to speak Spanish, but maybe you're not super familiar with writing it and all that kind of stuff. So so that'll be helpful. And it's also going to prepare you later for taking the AP classes that I do recommend if you are a native speaker to take eventually. So advanced placement Spanish language and literature are both offered at Pueblo High School. And I think that's really cool because if you score a 5 on the AP Spanish language and literature exams at the end of the year, and then once you get to university, you take a 400 level Spanish class at the university, you can earn a minor at the University of Arizona. And if you didn't know, when you go to university and you select a program, they usually ask you to also select a minor. So you need to graduate with a major, which is your intended area of study. And you also have to select a minor, which is something that, you also select to study, but not as in depth as your major. So if you do the AP Spanish, both of them, and then just take one more class at the U of A, you've already earned your minor. So you're already ahead of the game. So I definitely encourage you to do that if you have that language skill. So apart from, our Spanish classes, we also have CTE programs. Ms. Morales Map did mention them before. So if you have you have in mind that, I want to be a doctor, or you're interested in business and all these kinds of things, and you want to get experience, you want to get knowledge about these areas, we offer all of these really cool programs where you can get certification. So we have, the automotive classes, we have photography, web design, film and TV, marketing, early childhood, healthcare foundation. So again, all of these are gonna prepare you to get certifications in these areas so that you can work right out of high school in these areas and give you, experience. We also have a ton of general electives. Some of the ones that I'd like to highlight is, we've got these really neat AP programs, so like AP Human Geography, AP Psychology, AP Computer Science. We have, the awesome program with Cycling 101. We're going to be starting to offer dance. Student government, so it's an excellent way to get involved in your school community. We have student service learning, so that's another awesome way to help your peers and also to learn about the college application process and all that kind of stuff. We have radio. Again, we're the only school that has a radio station. We have yearbook, so a ton of really cool things that we've got here at Pueblo.
We also have a variety of different opportunities that we can help students with. In addition to the great CTE programs that we have here at Pueblo High School, we also have a partnership with other school districts in Tucson, one of which is our JTED Central Campus. JTED has additional other career and technical education programs in addition to what we offer at Pueblo High School. The one thing with JTED that I am going to make sure that students know is that these are classes that you take after school, right? So if you wanted to go graphic design or a physical therapy technician or fire science, you would, in your regular school day, you would come to Pueblo, take your classes period 1 through 7. And then once you were done with classes at Pueblo, then you would go to the JTED campus and take classes after school in order to get your special certifications in specific areas. One of the things to keep in mind is that if you are interested in JTED programs, it does constitute a significant commitment on your end, 1, and 2, registration fills up really quickly and a first come, first served basis. In terms for registration for JTED programs for next school year, those registrations are going to start up January 14th. So they are going to be coming up here in the next month. So if you have not done so already, please make sure you reach me so we can talk about what does it look like to be a part of a JTED program and what can we do to make sure that you are prepared.
Okay,
And I
Alicia,
believe this is
yes,
Ms.
yes.
Borbon.
Okay, and so we just want to remind you to do the electronic course selection form. We'll be going over that with you guys in your classes in the week of January 11th. And also, if you have any questions about the course selection form, please reach out to us. We want to make sure that you guys create a schedule that, you know, serves your personal needs and your goals and everything.
Next slide, Mr. Cruz. All right, so very quick, there's only 15 minutes left and we do make time for Q&A for, I see there's parents and students in this presentation. So I just want to just briefly give some overview information about Pueblo College Preparatory Academy at Pueblo. Next slide, please. And we have major goals about the academy. So the Pueblo College Preparatory Academy is a place for students who want to overachieve, they want to excel, they know they can, and they want to constantly challenge themselves with coursework. And so the main goals with the academy are: 1, it's for students who want to earn full ride scholarships or full tuition scholarships, and they know that they have to get good grades since freshman year, scholarships to be debt-free by the time they graduate, to apply and potentially be accepted into prestigious colleges and universities that include Ivy League schools or honors colleges within our in-states, to be fully prepared and successful at the college university. So it's not just enough for our students to get scholarships, to get accepted into these amazing schools, but also that when they get there, they are over-prepared academically. They are not going to drop out their freshman year in college because it was too hard. So students in the academy definitely are well prepared to be successful in finishing their 4-year degree, whatever post-secondary path that they are choosing. If you want to know more information about the academy, please make sure to email me and I could schedule a meeting with you and go over it with you and your students. Next slide, please. So just in a nutshell, the Pueblo Preparatory Academy has been a long time coming. I know that We've been working on this since 2008 for sure. And so now we have officially launched it, and it is a 4-year plan that includes all of the classes that they need to graduate from high school, as well as the Sweet 16 and beyond. It also includes a mentoring component for community service or capstone experience, which is critical for when they apply for scholarships and elite universities. And because they want to see that students excel not just in the classroom but outside of the classroom. And so it's a 4-year plan that we have studied, that we have over, that we have vetted with the different admissions officers, the different committee members for scholarships, and we have been very successful with students who have participated in this 4-year plan, both officially and unofficially. Next slide, please. So how do you get into the academy? So you have a meeting with me, the family and the student. I go over the 4-year plan with you. I go over the contract. If you and your child feel like this is the path you want to take and to reach the goals that I just delineated, then you sign the contract. That makes you official. You don't have to pass a test to get into the academy. You just need to want to have ganas, grit, commitment, and do not shy away from hard work. And so you sign the contract that makes you official. At the end of every year, counselor of record will check that you are eligible for the academy, which means you have to have C's or better in all of your classes to stay eligible at the end of each semester. If you want to get full rides, you have to have A's and B's. Then your freshman and sophomore year are considered pre-academy years. And at the end of your sophomore year, there is an application and interview process whereby if you want to go through that experience, then your junior and your senior year are full-fledged academy years. And then at the end of your senior year, you will present a capstone or volunteer project in front of a committee, a panel of judges that are made up of Pueblo faculty. And then they will review your 4 years of capstone or volunteer experience, and then you graduate after that. And to give you some examples in the next slide of students who have followed this 4-year plan both formally and informally, we have had students who, Mr. Cruz, if you can go to the next slide. We have had students who have graduated from Pueblo with this 4-year plan, like I said, both officially and unofficially. Bill de la Rosa, who has graduated from Bowdoin, has a double master's in Oxford that is a university found in England. And he is working on his PhD in Oxford and has been accepted to Yale Law School. All expenses paid. He will graduate debt-free from all of these degrees. We have Ashley Parra on the far right. She graduated from Wellesley College, an elite all-women's college in the East Coast. We have Daniel Motley, who graduated and is working on his master's at Brown University, another Ivy League school. We have students who have been accepted to Smith College, another elite all-women's college. Lisbeth Quita, Jasmine Ladriere, Janae Ladriere, Janice Salazar. We have Leo Parra, who got accepted to Skidmore. Erin Kuzdal, our valedictorian from last year, who is a student now at Swarthmore. Those are all Ivy schools. Next slide, please. Mr. Cruz. And then we also want to go back to Ms. Ramirez Borbon, who's going to finish up the last 2 slides.
Hey, hello, everybody. So the last thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about is Raise.me. It's just a really cool program, and I'm going to share my screen. Oh, never mind. I can't share my screen. But basically what it is it's a cool program where you have the ability to start earning micro scholarships as early as a freshman in high school. And so what you would do is you create a profile with Raise.me, and then you can start tracking everything that you're doing at the end of your freshman year and beyond. You'll be putting in your grades, and some schools will offer you different amounts of micro scholarships based off of your grades. So for example, the school that I like to show a lot to my students is Soka University of America, because they will offer scholarships like $500 for every single A that you get. So if you get an A in all of your classes, you'll be getting $500 for each of those. But if you're, for example, you're one of those students that likes to challenge yourself, you might get $800 instead of $500 for that class if it's an honors, an AP, a dual enrollment class. They provide you money or they offer you money for community service hours, for working. If you fill out the FAFSA, if you are doing sports, anything like that. And the important thing to keep in mind is that this is an estimate of what they are going to offer you. You will get that money once you get to your senior year, you apply and you are accepted into that university, but you already know ahead what they are going to offer you once you apply to that school. Also, it's really cool because if you are, registered with raise.me and you maybe do a virtual tour because we are, in COVID times, they might offer you an additional scholarship for doing a virtual visit with them, all kinds of neat things for filling out the FAFSA. These are all attainable micro scholarships is the most important thing that I want to make sure that you guys understand. They are attainable. All of you guys can get one of these scholarships, these micro scholarships. And in addition to that, we just want to make sure that everybody is aware of the kinds of resources that we have at Pueblo High School. At Pueblo, we do have the 21st Century CCLC program. Ms. La Madrid kind of mentioned it before. This is where, if you are, you being a second semester freshman, a sophomore, junior, and you, didn't pass the class or didn't do that credit in the class, you can, do the class in a credit recovery or grade replacement with them. But in addition to that, there is a ton of tutors. Dr. Reyes, Mrs. Wallace, Mr. Jolly, Mr. Hillier, they are all here to help you in the morning and in the evening time after school with anything that you need in regards to your classes. So we've included the link there. So if you want to go to tutoring in the morning or after school, okay. And then the next slide. Does anybody have any questions right now?
Yes, we have about 6 minutes left before the end of our presentation. Right now is, if you could just make sure to unmute yourself and you can ask us questions. As one of our counseling team members mentioned, we are having the course selection lessons beginning January the 11th for the freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. And then in late February or March, we're going to be going into the middle schools and do course selection there. This is the first year that we're going to do the course selection process electronically. We are working on how to help you get access to your transcript so that you get your transcript while you're doing selection, the counselor that will be doing your presentations in your social studies classes. And so it will be electronic. The beautiful thing about it, Mr. Adalberto is here with us, but he made it so that you fill out the form. You will get your electronic form emailed to you once you have submitted after signing, you and your family. And then the counselor also gets a Excel sheet of all of your course selection. So if you're like, well, and also if you want to make changes to your course selection, you would then need to email us and request some to make changes. And then the changes should also be forwarded to you. Thank you, Ms. Barreras. You could also use the chat to your question and we can address it that way as well.
All right, great. It doesn't seem like anybody has any question. Folks really enjoyed the information. Hopefully you all got some great things out of it. One of the things that we'll do is, if you want to ask any individual one-on-one questions, the counselors will stay back for the next 3 minutes while the session ends. But for the rest of you, if you have any questions, you're to go. Thank you for coming, and we hope that you reach out if you have any questions.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for coming.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Goodbye.